to the music, huh? Cool. Yes. All right. Welcome to Gab and Jam, episode 154.
Yes. What are we talking about today?
We're piggybacking on a topic we kind of covered a few weeks back, but it's a different take on it. This is the value of refreshing your vision board for the D.I.Y. Rockstar.
Okay.
And we've refreshed our vision board 3 times now since we first started. I'll put the links for the first time we did one and the thinking behind that below. But why did we do it? Aren't our goals pretty much the same?
Well, goals can evolve and change.
Yeah.
So you got to be flexible and able to evolve as situations change. So let's just say you were a group and you had plans. You said, hey, in 2019, you said, we're on tour.
In 2020.
All through 2020.
And there are a lot of bands who actually said that.
Come hell or high water.
Right. We're going to commit to it. We're going to
do it. And then you got to the month of March and your whole tour got shut down.
Yes. And for the foreseeable future until this is past.
So now all of a sudden you got to change.
Yeah.
You got to come up with something to change that. And there might have been other people who were affected by the pandemic in different ways, and so where all of a sudden what you had planned for 2020, you had to change your course of action, and so that's why you kind of have to be fluid and kind of nimble and quick to make these type of changes. So you understand that your vision board is out there and these are things that you really hope to do, but you also want to be realistic and adapt to your circumstances.
Yeah, that's actually one of our points. So I have 5 points for why you would refresh your vision board. And one of them, we'll get to it because you actually kind of touched on it. But number 1 is the main reason why you might want to refresh your vision board is you are taking stock of the reality of your creative situation, which kind of, what you said kind of falls under that.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way that I know definitely for us that we could do we are finally becoming more networker friendly. We finally learned ways to network that work for us.
Yeah.
And so we were really looking forward to, diving head first in 2020 and meeting people in our industry and doing the meetups and all that kind of stuff. And we've had to change. So, I mean, and it's a natural change.
Right.
It was unnatural, but it was like, okay, you have to learn to thrive no matter what the situation. And that required changing a few things around on our list.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, I like that. All right, number 2, for reasons why you would want to refresh your vision board is when you're ready to see the progress you've made, where you've done well and what you could do better, then that is a time to kind of look and see, okay, these are the things I've already done. I can check those off the list. And then these are the things I want to double down on, or these are the things I want to add. Which is a perfect place.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to leave room for creativity.
Yeah.
So meaning that you may come up with a better idea. You may come up with something that's better for you to do than what you thought you were going to do 3 months ago. And you have to leave a certain amount of you got to leave a certain amount of room for you to come up with those variances.
I like that.
So you have to leave room for your own creativity with respect to what your plans are going to be.
Yeah, and then the things that if you decide that you didn't even like, I mean, that was some of we had a ton of stuff. I was talking about that on one of the other episodes of, I had we had 20 for 20 for 2020, and it just was so much. And so it kind of helped to try to go through some of it and realize, okay, these I'm going to shelve.
Right.
So that was part of it too. It's like, okay, I realize I'm not in that mindset right now. And then especially with the pandemic, we did the album, and so that became the new focus. So a lot of those things just got shelved. It's like for now. Yeah,
but sometimes it's sort of like you got to leave yourself room for like in figuring out the things that you truly like. Sometimes what you end up doing is you stumble into a lot of things that you don't like.
Yeah.
And so, but finding things that you don't like is actually a good way to get to what you do like, because sometimes you may look at things that you can do and look at those things as things that, okay, since I can do it, that's something I should do.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that's different than things that you want to do.
Yeah.
Those are completely different types of things. And so as you're kind of reshaping and looking at your goals, you may end up throwing out some of those things that you can do and maybe felt like you should do for things that really you want to do and that you're passionate about.
Yeah, because you really do have to choose. Like, again, we talked about that before. There are only 24 hours in a day, and there's only a limited supply of your physical energy. So you have to figure out where the effort and energy and your time is going to go. So I like that. Number 3, for the reasons why you might want to consider refreshing your vision board, is that you can make better projections based on what you've learned from, I know for us for the past 3 years, you know, that I've realized that things take longer. Some things take longer than I thought they were going to take, and then other things are, you know, are a lot shorter, or like you talked about on one of the other episodes where you can check off. If you do count this as the big goal, you can check off a few of those smaller goals within that.
Right.
And then that way, they don't need to actually be on the board, because you want to make sure your focus is on the things that you have up there, and you know, and not end up getting sidetracked with a whole bunch of, you know, overwhelmed and sidetracked with a bunch of other stuff. So.
Yeah, that's true. No, you're good.
Oh, okay. So number 4, for the reason why you might want to refresh your vision board is, and this kind of goes to what you said the first time too, helps you decide your overall goals when they've changed based on the situation around you. It's things that you can't control.
Yeah.
And I know one of our industry buddies just had a baby, so baby changes everything. You know, she had all kinds of plans, and and now, you know, with the little one, you can't shelve the little one. That's just not how it works.
Right. Yeah. I mean, just a host of things can happen along the way that could kind of, I guess, change plans, derail plans, or whatever else. But the thing is that there is that old show business mantra that the show must go on. So you always have to figure out a way to adapt and be nimble enough and get your goals done.
Yeah, I like that.
So.
Yeah, because I think she is moving forward now. It's been a couple weeks. And I think she's finally back to her list. But and the number 5 reason why you might want to refresh your vision board on a regular basis is it helps you see where your priorities are for the next stretch of time. That, you know, okay, and different people do it for different periods of time. You know, some people do it once a year with their New Year's resolutions. Other people do it once a quarter for, you know, the 4 quarters. And then for us, it's just as things majorly change, I think is the reason why. It's like, okay, our focus has changed, our mindset has changed, you know, the priorities have changed, whatever it is that made us say, well, let's look at this list again and see if we can do something that is a little bit more, I guess, on the nose for what we're trying to do. Right.
And again, I just keep saying you always have to leave room for creativity. So always allow that room to go with your instincts, go with, you know, what you're feeling in that moment. And I know that kind of part of making the list is also to keep you focused, because at the same token, you don't want to always be a person that's flying off the cuff all the time. You know what I mean?
So, shiny object syndrome.
Yeah, that you just, and then sometimes you end up not getting anything done. But at the same token, you always have to leave that room for creativity. It's sort of like if you're recording a song and you go through and you try to make the song perfect. You know, usually in seeking that perfection, you're gonna lose some of the creativity and spontaneity.
Some of that organic energy.
It's some of the stuff that, you know, again, as we were talking about, you know, last episode or whatever, when we were talking about the growing your tunes. It is that human aspect, that spontaneity, that those parts of the songs are what makes them quirky. Because it's like the Ballad of Dorothy Parker. You know, Prince went in the studio, Susan Rogers said, and he started recording, and she noticed that something was weird with the sound, you know, that it was this dull sounding, but Prince never would allow, you know, an engineer to kind of figure things out and rest that kind of stuff. And it's like, if he's recording, you don't stop him. He just goes through with it. And he was just recording, going fine, and then finally says, "It sounds dull, huh?" You know, I mean, because it had no type into it. But that became the sound of that song. And it's like that song has that sound to it because of that. It's like 779311. That was a stock drum beat in the Linn drum machine. You know, I mean, so again, it's that aspect of it. It is that part where, you know, you allow the moment to kind of shape what you do too.
Yeah.
And with your vision board, you got to be the same way. You got to allow these times to speak to you.
Yeah.
And, you know, not just this time, but any time.
Yeah.
You know, to speak to you and make sure that, you know, you're responding to your gut also.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's what the Bill Maher was talking about last night. He talked about we're going to want to remember this time. So, so again, let this time affect you in some way, especially as an artist. And we've talked about that before, but let this time in some way, I don't know, that where you process this through your practice, or maybe it affects how your relationships, you know, strengthen, you know, especially your core family, you're at home all the time. It just, you know, but all of that helps shape who you are, and you're going to want to remember this.
Yeah, I mean, you have to, I mean, this took me a long time to get there. Sometimes you got to figure out a way to glean positivity from the valleys. Yeah, so a lot of times we always look forward to the peaks. Yeah. And you always kind of squirm and you know, and you just can't wait to get out of your valleys. But in a way, you have to, when you're going through a valley, you have to take that moment and squeeze positivity out of it. Yeah. Because it's usually the valleys are always going to prepare you for the peaks. Yeah. You know, and so, and it's sort of like if you kind of take those moments where you're going through your valleys to really, really improve you. Because that's what the valley is doing. Yeah. You know, it's that iron sharpening iron. Yeah. That's when you're being sharpened by that iron. Yeah. Is when you're going through your valley. You know, and so that's the time that you have to really say, okay, this is when I'm really building up my muscle. That's your time in the gym. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's sort of like you got the time where, you know, you're the muscle guy, you're out there and you're doing that when you're on the stage and all the rest of that kind of stuff. That's your peak. But what gets you ready for that is the time that you put in the gym. Yeah. And that's your valley. Oh, and so that's why you have to glean and squeeze everything out of your valley. So.
I like that. All right. What about you? Have you created a vision board yet? If not, why not? And again, we have episodes that show you how, and a blog post that show you what we did in order to think through the vision board. And if that's helpful to you, make sure you check that out. If you do have a vision board, how often do you update it? How do you update it? What makes you choose how to update it? We'd like to hear that process. Drop it in the comments below. And
we got the sugar fit ornaments.
The sugar fit ornaments are done. Yeah. And for the people who ordered them, they're going out today. But if you haven't ordered, we still have a few left. Yeah. There's a link below. Go ahead and send a PayPal payment and tell us what color ribbon. We have pink, green, red, and purple. Yep. So that is what's going on, along with
Sugar Fit's still available. So of course, it's going to be available. You can pick it up on Bandcamp. You can pick it up on Apple Music. Yep. You can dial us up on Spotify. Yes. You can get us through CD Baby. Yes. So Amazon. So any of these different places, wherever you get your music, you can get that. If you have a local record store that you want to hit us up about that we need to get Sugar Fit to, tell us what the record store is. Put it down in the comments below. Yes, love it. And let us do what we do. We'll get this out to you.
Yeah. If you dig the vibe, be sure to
subscribe.
We're wishing you love, peace, and
chicken grease.